You know, many of you guys who have been here a while, I shared with you about my granddaughter. You know, with the surgery, the 3 multiple surgeries, the loss of the little valve between the large and the small intestines, and she's been on a constant feeding tube 24 hours a day. She's 7 months old, and she's finally up to 13 pounds. Her brother, on the other hand, is doing great. Both of them were born 3 months premature. This last week, she was finally taking enough bottle feeds for them to take the tube out. So she only has to have the feeding tube at night, which is a blessing, because so many of you guys, so many people have been praying for that, praying with us, and it's just been a blessing just to look at this little girl who we thought she was going to die at least a couple times, and to watch and see God work. It's something that only could go back and say, you know, this was God. And I think that's what God wants in all of our lives. What's going on in your lives, that people look at you and they don't see you, but they see God. They see what He's done. Maybe it's in the middle of a divorce or bad financial decisions or whatever that is. It's all about your response. How do you respond in the middle of that? Most of the time, it's humble yourself. Humble yourself. You can have all the knowledge and all of those things, but if you don't have love, if you don't show Christ's love, not just talking about it, but going to those extremes. So, today, we'll start off. We'll start with John. Come on up, John. John, I've watched John for the past, 6 months to a year. He's been through hard times. I think he's on the other side of it at this point. But his life is really about a celebration of if you, in the middle of the hard stuff. I'm going to tell you a story here, John. Yeah. That was good. Good job, John. In the middle of the hard stuff, if you don't take your eyes off of if you take your eyes off of your circumstances and keep them on God, that's where it makes all the difference. So, John, 2.5 minutes is all you've got.
2.5. Right time me.
Come on over here.
I guess to add to what Stephen said, you know, just being in community has been a big part of, you know, my walk, making, you know, good friends that I never thought I'd really have. You know, like you were saying, I'm on the other side of a divorce now, about 3 weeks, and you know, I watch a couple of my friends go through divorce, and I see the difference in my life, you know, and try to bring them along too. You know, having this community, having God, makes all the difference in the world. I mean, it's where you think you'd be stuck in just sorrow and despair, and sometimes you hit those points just because, you know, divorce is what it is. But you know, I can say now, I mean, I've enjoyed my life. You know, I'm not happy I got divorced, but it is what it is, and God has something, you know, for that. So I'd say, you know, and now going through that process, now I'm kind of on the back end of that, trying to pay it forward. You know, I got you know, some guys at work going through divorce, and I'm just sharing with them what I dealt with, what got me through it, and they're responding. You know, and that can only be God, because I do construction. So I mean, you guys do construction. You normally don't have God talks on a construction site, and He's putting these people in my life, and we're having those talks. So I mean, I can only praise God for that. I mean, it's you know, for me doing it for 16 years now. Until the last 6 months, I'd never had a God conversation at all. And it's not the ones I'm really initiating. It's just, you know, it might even lead to just saying, hey guys, you know, I got divorced. And they're just like, well, why haven't you been unhappy the last year? And then right there, boom, that's the opening to the story. You know, so I just encourage you guys, you know, He'll put you in those spots, you know, where you can do His work, you know, and, you know, I just pray that for you guys. I'm excited to see what He has for me. I don't know what it is, but we'll see.
Very good.
I told Johnny he had to get up here. He's actually going to be sharing a 5-minute story in the encounter group on Tuesday. So this will be a good chance for you to stand up there and get some of those fear things out of you. You? Which one? Okay.
Yeah.
Both of you?
Father.
Okay. We'll come up together.
Good to go.
So I'll just let you hold that in front of you guys.
Okay.
All right?
Well, my name is Mark, and this is Jeremy, my son. And we have learned over the last 4 months or so, I'm sorry it's so late, but God moved into my heart about 4 months ago or so. And Jeremy and I would butt heads, and we would fight constantly. Nothing he could do was ever good enough. Nothing I could do would ever please him. And about 4 months ago, we went to Thirsty, and I was hit across the head with a 2x4. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I accepted, I'd always been a Christian, but God has always been in my life, but was never the most important thing in my life. And as soon as I put him first, things really started to change. Our relationship got much, much better. A little more respect in the house, and then it started moving through the whole family. My other younger girls, they both accepted Christ a month or so ago, and I think it happened because when you make yourself an example, and you really believe and you really show what God can do in your life, you become what people see. I guess what I'm trying to say is the example that you give really is important to other people. And especially this weekend, Steve and I were talking that this weekend especially, non-believers are really looking at us to really see what, because they will take any excuse to go, ha, look, that's what a real Christian is right there. The guy that's cursing and doing this and doing that. So this weekend especially, I prayed that I would be an example to all non-believers, especially now when they may need it most in their lives. And this is the chance for us to, Christmas and Easter are the two biggest holidays for non-believers. And I think that if we really concentrate on being a good outward light, they'll hopefully will see what we are. And this is a great group to have. Absolutely awesome community to be in, because this has really been my support system, because your tanks get dwindled during the week and you come here on Saturday mornings and your tanks get filled back up and you're ready to go out there and face the world.
I guess the thing I'd like to say is the biggest thing in our life is family is where it all starts. If your family's right with God, and how we've learned with our relationship with God, that it started with you, then I broke down in church and was on my knees praying and everything, and then it's just kind of started within our family, and everything's just been great since then. So it pretty much just starts with your family, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well said.
Thanks so much of a talk.
Now this guy, okay, I'll condemn him a little bit. It's bad to know so many people. And I haven't seen him in. I was at your wedding. How long ago was that? It's good to have you back.
Well, thank you.
Tell us what's going on.
All right, my name's Rob. Actually, the last time I've been to a breakfast is a couple years ago, and it was still at Carol's. Now, what happened was I just kind of stopped going, and then I didn't go anymore. And then just last year, when my daughter was born, it was a rough time in the hospital because she had jaundice. They wouldn't let us leave. And then we finally got out. And then the following week, I'm getting used to being a new dad. Got to wake up every few hours, with the baby crying and feeding her. And then my job changed my hours. Now, I'm a Cali, Tempe, Boston Lam, and my convenient hours for second were 2 to 10 Monday to Thursday and Friday 1 to 9. That was the really good hours, and it changed from that to 3:30 to 11:30. Now, going from that one extreme to another kind of messed my whole system up, and up and from there to kind of just shortly before now, I was kind of like, you know, growing close with God, then I kind of fell. It was this kind of back and forth kind of roller coaster, up and down, up and down. And I talked to Peggy a few times, it still didn't sink in. And then last Sunday, Dave was talking about environments and about opening up and stuff, and it was I believe God told me, you know what, you should go back to the breakfast. I didn't have any thought in my mind, and someone just told me go back to the breakfast, and I believe that's my thing to celebrate today, is because I'm returning to breakfast so I can be in environments and get closer to God.
Ron?
How much time we got?
2.5 minutes. We got a little Bo Peep cane that will pull you off.
2.5 days.
And on the no.
My name is Ron. Been coming over here quite a while, but it's not very easy. I'm not very good at talking to groups of people, but can you hear me back there? Okay. My wife and I, we've been married for right at 30 years, and I never was one to take any responsibility. Got a couple of wonderful kids. I was always the fun-loving parent, and my wife, she gave me an opportunity a few years ago to be a man and to lead our family. And first thing out of my mouth was, holy crap, you know, what am I gonna do? I don't know. Anyway, it's awesome. My wife and I used to communicate to each other through our kids. That didn't do them any justice, and it certainly didn't do us any justice. We found each other a couple years ago, and it's still, sometimes it's up and it's down, but man, it's an awesome ride. Like I told you, Stephen, I could talk for 2.5 hours. But you guys out there, we were created to love our wives. And it'll change your life. It will. It'll change your life. Sometimes I feel like I have to hold my hat in the door before I go in, just to make sure it doesn't get shot off, but that's an overstatement, really. But because it's brand new. But that's what God does. He makes all things new. And that's what I'm celebrating today. Loving my wife, being a father to our children. Even though our daughter's grown, I listen to her now like I never did before. And it's awesome. Put your foot in the water and test it. It might be a little chilly, but go on in, man. Go on in.
You? Kind of thought so.